Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today, since I've been getting a lot of suggestions recently, and I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be able to do them because I would have to do more research than if I did one based off prior research that I already have. I've been doing a lot of Hillary Clinton videos. That's because I'm trying to get her out of the way so I can start moving on more Democratic candidates against other Republicans, just in case you're waiting for like a Joe Biden versus Ben Sasse or Mike Pence or more candidates like Sarah Palin and I did with Hillary Clinton, in case you were wondering for hypothetical matchups between each candidate. So I'm going to start with Hillary Clinton, move on to Bernie Sanders, and then in between I'm going to be doing, of course, some suggestion videos. So sorry if you hear my fan behind me, but yeah, so this is just going to be Clinton versus Trump, the best case scenario for either candidate. So of course the electoral map was 306 to 232. However, let's think about the best case scenario for either candidate. So let's of course go through the solid states for each candidate. I'm going to include the independent in the close rotation. I'm going to leave all the states that were at one point in time a toss-up state for the general election. So, or considered a toss-up by the mainstream media. I'm going down here for, there's a lot of states that were only toss-ups for maybe a day. They were considered toss-ups for a day because of the fact that they were in specific areas, and this is just the best case scenario for both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So let's just keep going through all the safe maps, all the safe states, and all the safe electoral votes and things like that. So all the states that were once at one point in time considered not solid red or leaning red or considered toss-up by some. I know you're thinking Montana, North Dakota, when were those? Arkansas, when were those? First of all, MSNBC predicted that Missouri, Kansas, Texas, South Carolina, Mississippi, and a bunch of other states would become competitive. And a lot of other political pundits like Nate Silver had Hillary Clinton having a surprising chance of winning states like North Dakota and Montana after the convention boost. So the reasoning behind that is just I'm going to leave it as a toss-up. I'm going to leave... I don't think they would flip to the blue regardless of what type of day it is for each candidate, but let's just keep going through all the safe states. Nebraska obviously is safe red except for that one congressional district. So all the safe Democratic states are over here. Actually, Delaware is a toss-up. Connecticut is a toss-up. Rhode Island is a toss-up. These are just best, as if it was your best day. So obviously Hillary Clinton has the lead because of California and New York and big states with a big number of electoral votes. Whereas this election was really poised against Donald Trump in many ways. He surprisingly won, and if it was any other day, he wouldn't have won. I'm telling you, there was a number of factors that landed him the presidential election victory, and it wasn't just the white working class. There was a lot of other factors. It was the email scandal that broke 11 days before the presidential election. It's the email scandal that broke apart a lot of the Clinton voters that voted early in Wisconsin, who changed their votes. It changed a lot of the votes in Michigan, and it changed a lot of the votes throughout the entire country. If Hillary Clinton on her best day, she could win 90% of the states in yellow now. Donald Trump on his best day could win probably 95% of the states in red. I mean in yellow, because they are red states. So let's just go through this map. As of right now, what states would be considered some as a toss-up and we'll figure out where Hillary Clinton could have best expanded her lead here, and then we'll go into Trump's best case scenario. So on Hillary Clinton's best day, obviously she would carry all the states that she won in the 2016 general election. She would carry Delaware, Rhode Island, of course, Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, and Virginia, and that puts her at 232. So now let's go through all the states that she could have won on her best day. This is just a what-if scenario. If Hillary Clinton had her best day that the polls showed her at, and the just for an example that all the states that were close at one point flipped to her somehow. This is just going to be that scenario: South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Arizona, Utah, definitely, Alaska. Kansas was considered a toss-up. Trump was only up by 4 in one poll. Arkansas and Mississippi, I'm going to leave those red, even on her best day. North Dakota and Montana, Montana would actually flip just on her best day and her best showing. So that puts her at 461 to Donald Trump's 77 electoral votes. So let's just go through the reasoning for that. Obviously, Montana, Kansas, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Indiana, those were all huge changes. The reasoning behind it is Hillary Clinton polled even or close in these matches, and after the convention, she was at probably one of her higher points, or if it was right as Donald Trump announced, at her highest point. So that's why I'm giving her those states. I'm just saying it's on her best day in each one of those states. So let's revert back to the map that we had. We had Nebraska as a toss-up. Oops. We had Nebraska as a toss-up. We had all of Maine as a toss-up. Pennsylvania. All these states were considered toss-up. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you know how this ends with all the states that are in all the states that are currently in yellow. I'm pretty sure you know how it ends if it was on Trump's best day. So right now we're back at our map 168 to 62. So on Trump's best day, he would obviously carry all the states he won in 2016. So all of these states up and down, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Utah, Kansas, and Alaska. And then we have to give him 1 electoral vote out of the state of Maine and 1 electoral vote out of the state of Nebraska. That puts him at where he was. Well, obviously, on his best day, he could flip Virginia, Nevada, Minnesota, Colorado, New Mexico, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, and obviously Maine. So this would be the map if it was on Trump's best day. 370 to 168, meaning he would win every state in yellow. Just like I was saying, the Hillary Clinton map on her best day was a lot higher. This is just based off polling. There was never a point where Trump was ahead of Clinton by 19 points. But there was a day, and there was actually months where Clinton was ahead of Trump by 19 points. There were months Clinton was ahead of Trump by 12. The only time Trump ever took a lead in the polls was at most by 1.2%. That's why I'm giving her such a bigger margin of victory, because I'm not, I can't say I know this for a fact. I'm basing it off the information we have now. And sure, the polls were somewhat wrong in 2016, but I'm not going to discredit every single poll I see because they were mildly wrong in one state in 2016. Okay, let's revert back to the electoral map on election day, and we put Clinton at 232 electoral votes. Now let's say it was Trump's best day and Hillary Clinton's best day. If it was Trump's best day and Hillary Clinton's best day, I do think that Trump would have the upper hand and flip a state like Minnesota, Nevada, New Hampshire most definitely, and Virginia, and probably Maine at large, but that's probably the electoral map I would see it if it was on Trump's best day versus Hillary's best day, just because of the fact that Trump's best day really, I think, overwhelmingly would overpower Clinton's best day, just because of the fact that on election day he sweeped these voters, and I think that with that full force of energy behind him of winning plus 19, I don't think that a Clinton victory could suppress 19 percentage points unless it was only Clinton's best day. So, of course, revert back to the normal electoral map. And so this is my first video for today. I'll most likely have a second video up once I get home from school. This one's scheduled for 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so that's probably when it should drop. So this video was inspired by Andrew Carson. And subscribe in the middle and watch my recent election nights on the right and left. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later today.